Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome here to the launch pad and our live launch coverage of SpaceX Starlink 7-15 on a historic day. America has landed back on the surface of the moon. If you joined us earlier for our lunar landing coverage of IM-1, thank you so much for being part of that. We are continuing to monitor for updates as we await that first image from the lunar surface, and the moment we have it, we will bring that on air on our IM-1 tracker. But you are looking right now at a live view of Slick 4E at Vandenberg Space Force Station in California, where SpaceX is preparing to launch 22 Starlink V2 minis aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. If it's your first time here, though, welcome. My name is Zach. I'm the founder and host here at the Launchpad, and here at TLP, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow, because we believe that space is better together, and we have had confirmation of strong back retract, T-minus 3 minutes, 50 seconds and counting till launch. You can see that retract happening now on your screen. Today's booster is booster 1061, and it's an exciting day as SpaceX is going to tie their record for the most flights of a single SpaceX Falcon 9 booster, tying it with our beloved booster 1058 that is no longer with us. If you want to happen to get some photos of booster 1058, though, you can get those over on the shop, tlpnetwork.com, and it is a launch day, so make sure you use promo code LAUNCHDAY to get 10% off of there. But today's booster is booster 1061, which previously supported Crew 1, Crew 2, SXM-8, CRS-23, IXPE, Transporter 4, Transporter 5, Globestar FM-15, ISI Eros C3, Korea 425, and 8 previous Starlink missions. SpaceX has the drone ship, of course, I Still Love You, stationed downrange in the Pacific Ocean, ready to support today's flight. We'll be taking you all the way from launch through booster landing, as SpaceX no longer provides live coverage of the deployment of Starlink. But tonight's deployment will occur 1 hour, 2 minutes, 17 seconds into flight after Falcon 9's second stage conducts a second burn. That burn expected to last 9 seconds this evening, starting 53 minutes, 15 seconds into flight. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that like button, and share out the stream. Invite people to join us as we continue to count down to launch. We're going to turn on the mission control nets and listen in there. As we come into the final 2 minutes of the count, as always, we want to see that final go, no go from you guys in the chat. If you are a TLP member on YouTube or want to become one for just 99 cents a month, you get access to those custom TLP go, no go emojis and other launch emojis. So make sure you take a moment and use those as well. T-minus 2 minutes and counting till launch, listening into SpaceX mission control as we continue through the count. If you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the Launchpad, and we'll work on answering those live.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
T-minus 90 seconds. The next major milestone is when Falcon 9 will go into startup and take control of the pre-flight checks, and the propellant tanks will be pressurized to flight levels. You can see that final vent as they purge the lines around the pad, safing the pad for ignition. T-minus 60 seconds. Falcon 9 is in startup.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Waiting for that final go, no go from the launch director. Expecting that in about 5 seconds from now. T-minus 50 seconds.
Go for launch.
There is that call out. The LD is go for launch. T-minus 40 seconds and counting.
T-minus 30 seconds.
You're just joining us. You're looking at a live view of Slick 4E at Vandenberg Space Force Station in California, where SpaceX is preparing to fly Falcon 9 for the 19th time for only the second time in history. T-minus 20 seconds and counting. Let's listen in to the final count. T-minus 15.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff of Falcon 9. Go Starlink, go SpaceX.
Falcon 9 is pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
And Falcon 9 booster 1061 rising for the 19th time. The next milestone will be max Q, the moment of maximum mechanical stress on the vehicle. That expected 72 seconds into flight. Falcon 9 now traveling already over 500 kilometers an hour, passing 2.5 kilometers in altitude. T plus 45 seconds.
Telemetry nominal.
Hearing that the first stage is performing normally. Both power and telemetry are showing a good flight. Now about 15 seconds away from that moment of max Q.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
And we have that call out there of supersonic.
Max
The next
Q.
and max Q as achieved as well. The next sequence of events is going to begin 2 minutes 25 seconds into flight, or about a minute from now. This will first start with first stage main engine cutoff, or MECO, immediately followed by first and second stage separation, first stage grid fin deploy,
Engine chill has started.
second stage engine start, also known as MVAC chill. 35 seconds later, we will have fairing deployment. That'll be when those V2 mini Starlinks are exposed to the vacuum of space for the first time, and the fairings begin their journey home. You heard a call out there just a moment ago for MVAC engine chill. That is the single engine on the second stage is now beginning to chill, just like the 9 Merlin 1D engines on the first stage did in preparation for their ignition. T plus 2 minutes, 5 seconds into flight. Falcon 9 now traveling over 5,500 kilometers an hour, passing 45 kilometers in altitude, heading downrange. T plus 2 minutes, 15 seconds into flight. We're 10 seconds away from that sequence of events. Listen to the callouts.
Main engine cutoff.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
And you can see there successfully on your screen, we've had MECO, first and second stage separation, MVAC ignition. We'll wait for the camera to switch. We have grid fin deploy on the first stage, now waiting 10 seconds for fairing deployment.
Both vehicles are following nominal trajectories. Fairing separation confirmed.
And you see on their screen there those 22 Starlink V2 minis now exposed to the vacuum of space. Both the first and second stage have passed through the Kármán line. The first stage is still coasting up towards its apogee. It's no longer under powered flight, but with its speed is still traveling higher in altitude. Keep an eye on the speed and altitude on the bottom left corner of your screen. Right around 116, 117 kilometers in altitude, that's where we expect to have apogee this evening on the first stage, and it will begin its journey back down to Earth. Now, in about 2 minutes, 10 seconds from now, the first stage will conduct what's called an entry burn. This is when it will reignite some of its Merlin 1D engines, helping slow it down as it hits the atmosphere, but also helps create kind of a force shield that protects the vehicle as it comes through some of the thickest part of the Earth's atmosphere. T plus 4 minutes, 5 seconds into flight. Second stage now passing 130 kilometers in altitude, coming up to passing over 10,000 kilometers an hour in speed. We're keeping an eye on that first stage speed and altitude. When the speed starts going up and the altitude starts to descend, we will have apogee, and this does vary launch to launch depending on how much propellant is on board and where they've placed the drone ship. Looks like we've stalled out at about 114. Speed is increasing and the altitude is decreasing. We have had apogee of the first stage. Booster 1061 completing the highest point of its flight, now beginning its 19th journey back to Earth. I saw a question come in the chat earlier from Ian. If this one lands and survives, will they go for 20 or will they retire it? The plan is that they will do their refurbishment, repair, whatever they need to do, and fly again. I heard numbers thrown around all the way from 30 to 50 that they're hoping to fly these. Elon back in the day said 100 per booster, so we'll have to wait and see what happens, but they're continuing to push the envelope and set new records with Falcon 9. T plus 5 minutes, 12 seconds into flight. The first stage now descending back below the Kármán line, or that 100-kilometer altitude mark. It's beginning its journey back into the Earth's atmosphere. Second stage now through 151 kilometers in altitude, coming up to 12,500 kilometers an hour, continuing to burn. That second stage on the MVAC engine will burn until 8 minutes, 38 seconds into flight, just right after the first stage landing burn. Now we got about 20 seconds away from the Merlin 1D engines on the first stage, a few of them igniting to conduct today's entry burn. Today's entry burn expected to last 28 seconds, and expecting that to begin in 10 seconds. Let's listen in to Mission Control for the call-out.
Stage 1 entry burn startup. Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And you saw on their screen what looked to be a good entry burn on the first stage. That vehicle now 40 kilometers and descending in altitude, but keep an eye on its speed. It's going to increase a little bit more here as it enters free fall, but now 35 kilometers and descending. It's now going to kill off almost all of that speed in preparation for landing, just using its body and those grid fins as it flies through the Earth's atmosphere. As it's night, it's a little bit harder for us to see, but we do expect that drone ship to come into view very last minute there, just as the booster prepares to conduct its landing burn.
Vehicles continue to follow nominal trajectories.
The first stage landing burn expected to begin 7 minutes 54 seconds into flight. The second stage continuing to burn well. You heard their call out. Both vehicles are performing nominally. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that subscribe button, and so you never miss another live launch coverage, docking, undocking, or return to Earth.
Stage 1 transonic.
Our 24/7 ISS stream is back, and we are counting down now just 7 days, 44 minutes to the launch of Crew 8 to the International Space Station. We're now just 15 seconds away from that landing burn start. Let's listen for the callouts as Booster 1061 attempts to land for the 19th time tonight on the drone ship. Of course, I still love you.
Stage 1 and Stage 2 FTS has saved. Stage 1 landing burn. Stage 2 is in terminal guidance. Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
And we have touchdown of Falcon 9 Booster 1061 on the drone ship. Of course, I still love you out in the Pacific Ocean, having completed its 19th mission. Keep an eye on the speed in the bottom right corner of your screen. We're waiting for SECO 1, or second stage engine cutoff 1. That will be coming up here in just a couple of seconds from now. And there we have SECO 1, the second stage now entering a coast phase as SpaceX continues to head towards deployment 1 hour, 2 minutes, 17 seconds into flight. That's going to do it for our live launch coverage of SpaceX Starlink 7-15. Make sure you head over to social media for confirmation of Starlink deployment, and join us over on the TOP Discord, and don't forget to head over to the shop, use promo code LAUNCHDAY, and get 10% off of your entire order, and it's a great opportunity to go grab one of those limited edition IM-1 Lunar Lander schematic tees, as 4 hours, 57 minutes, 15 seconds ago, America successfully landed back on the surface of the moon for the first time since Apollo 17. That's going to do it for us here tonight. We're continuing to monitor for that first photo from the lunar surface from IM-1, so join us over on that live tracker as we await for that first image. But that's going to do it for me from our TLP Canada studio. My name's Zach, and we will see you next time, because space is better together. Good night.